Mr. Tommaso, the stage is yours.
Thank you.
Grazie.
Is it working? Yeah, it's working. Hello, everyone. So many of you today. I want to start by thanking Marco and the entire Rentlio team for hosting me, for hosting us as Smartness. My name is Tommaso. I'm one of the co-founders of the company. And today I'm going to tell you a bit more about AI. Hopefully, by the end of the presentation, you will perceive it a bit less as a buzzword and more like a real-life ally for your properties, for your hotels, for your vacation rentals, as a solution technology that can help you scale faster and also, most importantly, improve your margins. But before we enter, is it working? Not working? Oh, okay, working. The beauty of the live stage. Before I start, I want to tell you a bit about us, because we come literally from the industry. We started from zero together with my two co-founders, Luca and Eugenio. We started in 2018 as property managers. So we started this we really started from zero, property management company in the north of Italy, Garda. Maybe some of you know this small place. And from the very beginning, from early on, we realized that pricing for us was an issue. We were leaving a lot of money on the table, and everything felt a little bit random. Luckily for us, we had Eugenio. He's the guy on the right. He's our tech genius. And we started working on something which slowly evolved into what today we call smart pricing. And for us, it was super successful, this tool, because we grew the company from one apartment, from one, to more than 100 apartments in less than 3 years, super profitable, and without any external funding. So we were quite happy, but we realized that maybe we were onto something. We were solving not only our own problem, but maybe a wider problem for the entire industry. That's why in the best year ever for the industry, I don't know how many, probably many of you were working in hospitality already in 2020, we decided to launch smart pricing. It was the 14th of February 2020. I remember the date because just 3 weeks after there was the lockdown. So we were a bit desperate, but we had a lot of time, let's say, to work on the product, to work on the technology. And after a few years, by 2024, we became the fastest growing company in travel tech. 2025, by now, we launched quite a few more products. We're going to touch upon some of these products later, Smart Chat, Smart Connect, and many others. So we felt like we needed to change name, and we launched the new brand, Smartness. But this is not the only good thing that happened in 2025, because we also fell in love with Marco, with Rentlio, and we decided to connect, to create a connection between our platforms. So today, all customers using Rentlio can also benefit from all our AI capabilities. Now, enough about us, enough about Smartness. I want to start speaking a bit about the problems that the industry is facing in 2025. And I like to compare working in hospitality like being on a roller coaster. So every day you are facing so many issues. You need to find new people, train them. You need to deal with OTAs, deal with prices, And among all these, you also need to keep the guests happy, hopefully. So I want to try to deep dive into some of the main challenges that we've seen over the past years. The first, and maybe one of the most relevant, in particular after COVID, after 2020, is staffing. Staffing for properties, for hotels, has become a challenge. Around 67% of properties, they quote that staffing is a problem. And actually for 12% of these properties, the issue is critical. So they struggle to stay maybe open because they're lacking housekeepers or people in the front office. And challenge gets even worse because from 70 to 80% of the people the properties hire during the year, they end up leaving. So there is a massive turnover in the industry. Maybe some of you feel it more than others. The second big challenge that we face, myself included, being property manager, is OTAs. Because yes, they are great. They bring business, they bring bookings, but these bookings come at a very steep price. You know, they cut deep through our margins, and I wanna make you feel even worse about OTAs, because if we compare how much we pay in commissions to OTAs to what an average small and medium business pays in terms of marketing cost per year, staggering difference. On average, they pay around 8% of revenue. We pay 3 times, from 20 to 25%. Okay, I call this the marketing tax. Wow. And of course, we want to try to avoid paying all these commissions. We want to try to get as many bookings as possible direct, which leads us to the third challenge. Bringing customers to book direct is super difficult, and it's also quite expensive. In general, around 63% of online bookings come through OTAs. The reason is that they mastered the online game. Okay, so they have really good websites, huge marketing budgets. In another life, I was working in Google, and Booking.com is the biggest spender in Google. Okay, they also have amazing loyalty programs. On the other side, you have us as independent hoteliers, independent owners, and we most of the time have crappy websites, not so cool booking engines, and for sure we don't have the budgets or the sophistication to invest in all the marketing activities where they invest. Okay, so yes, we want to try to get more direct bookings, but it's difficult. And the final issue that we face, I think we can all relate to this specifically, is that during a day, we wear so many different hats. We are managers, we have to recruit people, we need to do the prices, the marketing, and sometimes, myself included, we also have to do housekeeping. Okay, so in this kind of environment, it's really tough to scale. Actually, the more rooms you add, the more you scale, the more challenging it becomes. We call it the overwhelmed owner syndrome. In this context, a question is, can AI help you to grow, to scale? The answer is, of course, yes, but with a big but. And I want to tell you a short story from this event, actually. So when we were preparing for this session, I was traveling to North America, to Las Vegas, for another event, and we didn't have time to take a new picture of me. So my marketing team took an old picture with the old branding, smart pricing, and they asked AI to to recreate a picture of me with a new brand, new t-shirt. And the outcome, maybe with these slides you cannot clearly see me, but it's basically a new person, which really looks like a mix between me and a colleague of ours called Martino. So internally in the company for a couple of weeks now, we're joking that this is Martino Centonze, a mix of the two. And Martino, if you are watching us, maybe in the next weeks, hello, I'm thinking about you. Little funny story, which teaches us, in my opinion, a very important, very big lesson. AI is not magic, okay? We cannot expect to plug it in our businesses and for it to work seamlessly. It requires, first of all, a lot of data, information. And second, it needs very, very clear indications of what to do. Of course, if you want it to deliver the right outcome, the outcome you expect. And if you think about ChatGPT, also that technology nowadays super smart, works super well, but it took years of training, years of data. Okay, so if you're thinking about implementing such technology in your hotel, let's say, for example, on pricing, you will need to feed it the right data from your PMS. Or if we think about a chatbot, an agent for guest messaging, we will need to feed it information about our property, our frequently asked questions, etc. Okay. The cool thing about AI, though, is that if you train it with the right data, if you treat it like a new employee, after a couple of weeks, it's gonna already start to deliver amazing results. And I have another example from our company, because not only we like to develop AI, but we are also on the forefront when it comes to the adoption of this technology. And one of the applications we use is on customer support. Okay, so for the better part of 1 year, we've been testing various tools, various solutions with mixed results. But lately, it really seems that we nailed it, because nowadays when people speak to our customer support, in some situations, they want to speak directly to the agent. And a fun fact is that our agent is called Marco, with the Italian Marco, though, without the K. And it took a lot of time, a lot of effort for us to reach this stage. Probably a couple of hundreds hours of training and testing, and on a weekly basis, we need to continue to keep the content fresh. We need to make sure that the answers that the AI agent is giving to our customers are meaningful and relevant. Okay, but the results, they come and they are great nowadays. So hopefully we can also think about some applications of AI for your properties. And having worked with by now probably tens of thousands of properties, we identified 3 main use cases for AI. There are many more, but today we focus on 3. The first one is, of course, pricing, is where we got started. The second is guest messaging, and the third is loyalty and / direct bookings. We start with pricing. Why pricing? Why pricing is such a good application for AI? The reason is that pricing is complex. It's a complex topic. The market is changing fast. You have booking patterns, booking trends changing all the time. Nowadays, around 23% of bookings come last minute, last 7 days. You have OTAs running their own promotions. For example, Booking.com is cutting their own commissions sometimes. And you also have, on top of all these, macro trends that are impacting demand. I was reading last week about Croatia and the effort that the government took in trying to push more and more tourists to arrive in shoulder seasons. Okay, so these are trends that are super difficult to forecast, but nonetheless they are impacting your pricing strategy. So hopefully you want to start using some technology, but let's imagine that we are not there yet. Let's meet Lucia. Lucia is the owner of a 20 rooms boutique hotel, and she's really struggling with prices. Last month, she underpriced a very important holiday weekend. She ran out of rooms instantly. Last week, she made the opposite mistake. She overpriced a more quiet period, and she has now a lot of rooms unsold. Now an event was just announced, and she's trying to understand what to do. She's on booking.com, checking the rates of her competition. She's struggling a lot, okay? And we want to try to help Lucia to make better pricing decisions. So let's meet her AI revenue management tool. How can such a tool help Lucia? First of all, by collecting data, market data about prices, occupancy, events, holidays, but also data that are relevant on the property, the booking patterns of her property. Indeed, data is not generic data, okay? AI should not consider generic data, but should take into account the specific data that is relevant for a property. AI is capable of identifying your specific competitors in the market. AI is, of course, plugged into your PMS and is capable of reading all the data of your bookings and of your booking patterns. Once we get all this data, we need to feed it to the system, and the system is going to identify peaks and drops in demand, and depending on the necessity, is capable of adjusting air rates up to once every hour, which of course is a lot more than she could ever do. And the benefits don't stop there, because being a learning system, the more it stays plugged in, the better it becomes, the better the rate suggestion become. So we go from a situation of scrambling, having to maybe download data from the PMS, uploading to an Excel file, to a very simple dashboard where we see all the price suggestion updated for the next 500 days, immediately synced back to the PMS, and of course a massive benefit in performance. On average, we're speaking about 32% increase. Okay. On top of it, we're a bit less stressed because we know that we have a system that is helping us doing all these price adjustments, and the overall process becomes a lot more pleasant, a lot more efficient. And these are an example of the results that you can get from a system that is based on AI. We have an example from sunny Scotland, 12 rooms property. After a year of implementation, they got 54% increase in revenue. And I love this quote of the owner. Now managing rates feels like being a DJ, mixing the melody of revenue. So maybe she's doing part-time DJ, part-time property manager. Okay, so we covered the first application, the first real application of AI. We have a couple more. We go to the next one, which is guest messaging. And communication is really a great application nowadays for AI, because your guests expect almost instant answers. 40% of them, they expect an answer within an hour. And for a good portion of them, if you reply after 15 minutes, is too late. Okay? And when you're late, you miss bookings, you miss revenue, you miss direct reservations. But replying so fast is not easy if you don't have a big hotel, no? Because big hotels, maybe they have a 24/7 reception, so they can, reply almost instantly. What if you have a smaller property? It becomes a lot more challenging. You become like Javier. We went a bit crazy with the names. Javier is quite stressed because after work, he goes back home, he eats dinner, and he still has so many messages to go through from his customers. The questions that they ask are more or less always the same. Actually, around 90% of your communication with guests is always around their booking, the facilities of the property, or things to do around the property. Okay? But despite being recurring questions, he still has to answer all these questions one by one. And maybe these questions are coming in different languages: Croatian, Italian, German. So he has to spend even more time to, translate his answers and send these answers to the guests. And across many channels. Nowadays, WhatsApp, the OTAs, email. It's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, okay? So how can we help Javier? We can help Javier with an AI guest messaging assistant that never sleeps and is always there to answer your guest messages. How is this possible? First of all, this agent, we call it agent because it's also able to take action, collects all the communication of your guests from all your channels. So we mentioned the OTAs, WhatsApp, emails, etc. Once these communications are collected, he drafts answers that are extremely specific for the guest. Why? Because it's deeply integrated in the PMS, so he knows about your reservation, he knows when you're coming, in which property or apartment, he knows about all the amenities of the apartment, okay? So he can draft a super meaningful answer. And this answer is automatically sent in any language because AI doesn't have language limitations. It can actually go even a level further because as an owner, you can personalize the tone of voice of AI so that it's going to reply basically like you. And in all the situations where AI is incapable of answering, okay, we were just watching an example with my colleague Imke before I jumped in this presentation. AI is going to create a ticket for you. It's going to escalate to you so that as an owner, you can go back in control. And you're going to have a lot more time to deal with maybe more difficult situations, okay? It's a much better solution for Javier. So now he has a lot more free time, maybe to spend with his family. I know my girlfriend would be super happy if I had more time. Around 70% of all the questions of your customers can be completely automated already by now. So imagine in a couple of years, it's going to be even more, okay? And remember, wherever AI is incapable of answering, you will receive a notification so you can step in and solve the issue for the customer yourself. Also here, we have an example that I wanted to bring you, okay, from these Aurora Suites. Relatively small company. They have around 20 rooms. And through the implementation of this AI guest messaging solution, they've already been able to save around 70 hours per week, which is a lot of hours, in particular for a relatively small operation, no? With just 20 rooms. So imagine how much time you can save if you have even more rooms than them. And now we covered the last application of AI for today. And we already touched upon this as a topic, okay? The direct bookings, creating loyalty in your guests. We said that more than 60% more than 60% of online bookings as of today, on average, they come through OTAs. And this stings even more when these bookings come from past guests of the property, from people that maybe already traveled and they came back to your property, booking again through the OTA. We could avoid this because technically in the PMS, Rentlio, we already have all the information about the guest. So potentially we could use this information, the phone number, the email, to re-engage the guest. But doing so is quite difficult, it's challenging. Why is that? Because to send meaningful information to the guest, we need to segment the audience, we need to find the right message, and we need to send it also at the right time. And as owners, as managers, we struggle to have the time or the capabilities to go so deep. So we meet Aisha. Aisha is sad because last year there was a customer called John that came to her property. And John had an amazing experience. He left an amazing review to Aisha. So she was sure that he would come back this year and book directly. So she would save 20 to 25% in commission. Unfortunately, she forgot to send him a message. So he booked again through, let's say, booking.com. Okay? And she was so frustrated about this booking that she scrambled together a newsletter with a 10% discount, and she sent it to all her past guests. But the results were terrible. No one replied. Only a few people maybe made a direct booking. And again, remember, it's not her fault. It's just that we don't have the time nor the capabilities, the skills to send meaningful and timely messages. So we can help her. We can help her again with AI. AI can step in by harnessing all the data that is already sitting in your PMS. First of all, by segmenting the data. Remember, when we communicate to our guests, it's not only important the message, it's also important who are you going to send it to and when. Okay? So it starts by the who. So we are through the connection with the PMS, AI is going to segment your customers into micro audiences. Let's take the example of an event. Okay, so AI is going to recognize all the customers that travel to your hotel or to your property for a specific event. And not only AI is going to recognize that they traveled for an event, it's going to also recognize how far in advance they made a booking. Okay, so this is segmentation part. Once we have the segmentation ready, using real-world data, like information about, again, events, holidays, or information that we can take directly from your PMS, is going to craft super targeted messages that are sent at the right moment. Okay, so let's take the example of again of the event. Let's say that last year we had a big event in Zadar, and all the people that came for this event they booked 30 days in advance. This year, AI is going to recognize again this event, and is going to craft a newsletter targeting only the people that travel to our hotel during those days, and it's going to send this newsletter not 6 months before the event, because last year everybody booked just 30 days before. Okay, so it's going to send it around 30 days before to maximize the likelihood of getting direct bookings. So we go from a situation where we are not sending any direct messages to our guests, or maybe we send very generic messages to all our past guests, to a situation where Aisha just has to log in the platform, review all the suggested newsletters or even SMSs, WhatsApp messages to send to our guests, review and hit send. And with this, she might be able to increase direct bookings by around 20%. Actually, I bring you the case of Portofino Vacanze, another customer, slightly bigger, around 100 rooms. And by leveraging this new technology, they've been able, in less than one season, to increase direct bookings by actually more than 40%. Okay? And you can imagine, first of all, the impact on the margins, but also the amount of money they would have had to spend if they had to go through maybe an agency, a traditional marketing agency, to do all this very detailed work. Now, hopefully, I sold you a bit on the vision of AI and how impactful it can be for your properties. So it's time to consider implementing AI. Where do you start? You start by understanding which are your main issues. And luckily nowadays, implementing AI is not as difficult as it used to be a few years ago. You have quite advanced tools that are very simple to set up. So potentially you can also choose a couple of problems that you want to address at once. Step number 2 is you need to make sure that you're using the right platform, the right, in this industry, the right PMS. Because the PMS needs to be able to communicate with AI system like Smartness and feed it with all the relevant data. And if you're using Rentlio or if you're considering to use Rentlio, you're choosing a good PMS because it's an AI-ready PMS. Step number 3, we said it, you need to be a little bit patient, okay? You need for the first couple of weeks to monitor and give clear guidelines to the system in order for it to deliver the results that you expect. And good results, amazing results are really waiting for you. Okay, so we talked about 30+% increase in revenue, 20+% increase in direct bookings, and 70% or more of your guest communication completely automated by AI. Remember where we started as a company. We were frustrated with bad prices. Everything was a bit chaotic. Implementing AI for us was transformational and lead us where we are today. So I'm rather sure that it can have the same impact also for your businesses. Thank you for your attention. I'm done almost perfectly on time. Should I read? I read the questions? Perfect. So we have a few questions. Are Smartness solutions available for hoteliers in Croatia and the wider region? The answer is yes, absolutely yes. We are working strong in the region, particularly with Rentlio. So it's a short yes answer, and we are building more and more connections as we speak. But remember, you need a proper PMS, cloud-based. All the legacy systems we won't be able to connect and support. Second question, how do we combat complaints of guests who booked earlier at higher price due to dynamic pricing? That's a good question. So I tell you about our system. Our system always has the tendency to increase rates over time. Because in general, it's a better revenue management tactic, and you avoid, first of all, complaints, but also potentially cancellations. Because sure you know that when you drop a price on, for example, on Booking, Booking is gonna notify all the people that booked at a higher price, and if they're still outside the cancellation policy, it prompts the customer to cancel and rebook at a lower price. Okay, so we build this safety net into the system. But it can happen that they will complain, and I think nowadays all customers are more or less used to dynamic pricing. So I'm hearing this objection also when we're speaking to our customers less and less and less. So I think it's a common practice by now. Question number 3. 3 quick steps how to decrease OTA marketing margins and increase direct bookings and customer relationship. 3 steps. I mean, quick. I think we touched a bit upon this quite a lot on this topic today. There is nothing quick, unfortunately. There is a reason why they have such a big market share. I think it's a medium to long-term game. You need to invest in the right technology, starting from good website, SEO, visibility, make it already AI ready, because I think I don't speak Croatian, but I got some bits and pieces of Marco's presentation. You need to make sure that your website gets seen by the AI. Okay. You need to invest in the right booking engine and other technologies that we spoke about today. I don't think we will ever be able to fully compete when it comes to marketing budgets. So you need to leverage a lot your past guests. Make sure that as many of your past guests as possible return, or potentially even they refer to other people that come to the area. It's a funny thing that is happening a lot in where I live, in Riva del Garda. Since a couple of years, we have more and more tourists from Saudi Arabia, and apparently they refer a lot to each other. So the numbers of these Saudi Arabians is growing like crazy, which is good because they come a lot in low season because it's cold. So they come when the weather is cold. I think they appreciate it. One more or no? One more? So we had other AI software for pricing manager and we were not satisfied. It was not responsive enough. What makes your software better? How much time do you have? So I used myself other softwares because actually we started before 2018. We started in 2015 in Los Angeles, and then we moved everything to Italy and we started again from zero. And back then we were using beyond pricing, price labs, these early solutions. One of the things we do different, among others, but to give you a quick answer, is we are deeply connected to the PMS, and we check the data in your PMS once per hour. We have capabilities to do even more, but once per hour is more than enough. This, of course, makes the software a lot more reactive. Most of other systems, they only check once per day or less than once per day. So in particular, if you own an hotel or if you own multiple units in the same location, it might not be ideal. In particular, in situation where maybe a concert gets announced, etc. Any more questions? No more questions?